it's important we pay close attention to our kids. They are fusing in some dark teachings into children's content to make it look comfortable for these kids. Okay, now I want to tell you a very short story, and I'll link it to what I want to talk about today. I need you to pay very close attention to what I want to share with you. Now, after school on a certain day, a bunch of school kids got into their school bus, and on their way, while halfway of the journey, now this is a true life story, okay? It's not a fiction. Now, on their way, the bus driver, he had a seizure, all right? Where I'm not privy to the information what caused the seizure, whether he's epileptic or something, but he started shaking, he was shaking. Now, while on the steering, this chubby dude. Now, out of all the children in the bus, nobody noticed that the driver was having that seizure. And he was no longer in control of the steering or the vehicle. But one certain young boy, just one person, who sat not so far away, but not beside the driver. You know how these long buses are, this foreign bus, normal coastal or whatever, big buses are, was sitting just like 3 rows behind the driver. He noticed that the driver was shaking and he stood up. Now, these kids are within the ages of 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. All right, let me say 12. So they are kids. Now, he stood up. He had never driven the bus before. He had never even driven anything before because he's not even up to the age of driving. But somehow, he got to where the driver was while he was shaking. He held the steering and looked at the driver's leg and calculated that this one on the left would be the brakes. So he hit the brakes immediately. And everyone on the bus, all the other kids, almost felt like, everybody, like, you know, when you hit the brake immediately, you have that a reaction of collision. So he hit the brakes, and in the middle of the road, the bus stopped. When the bus stopped, he was able to turn off the engine, and then they screamed out for 911. You know how it is over there in the Western world. You just shout 911. Someone is very fast to put a call across to 911, and an ambulance came and took the driver away to the hospital to save his life. Now, the bigger story here is that the boy didn't just save the driver's life. He saved both his own life, the driver's life, and the life of every other kid on that bus. On that bus. Now, why were they saved at the end of the day? How come every other child in the bus was distracted? Only one person noticed what was happening to the driver. Screen time for both kids and adults, especially for children. Now, basically going to be talking about very briefly the dangers of excess screen time. Now, this is just going to be part 1. I'm going to have it into about 4 or 5 episodes, 4 or 5 parts rather. Now, excess screen time. The CCTV footage in the school bus, notice that every other kid in that bus were head down like this, either chatting or playing a game or doing something. Everybody else was down this way like this. Only this young man who didn't have a phone was observing the environment, looking outside, checking other kids, and looking at the driver because his eyes were straight in front of where the driver was headed. Do you understand? Now, because of that, he was attentive enough to know that something was going wrong. As a matter of fact, he had a phone, but he was not on his phone. Okay, he was not on his phone. Now, just imagine that he was also on a device like the other kids. That would have been the end of every single person in that bus, including the driver and this young man. But thank God someone was paying attention. It's a good thing to get your kids devices and phones, different things. Yes, the 21st century, they need to be up to date. They need to do research and all those things. But are you aware, especially talking to you parents, that these devices you give to these kids, only 5% of them are actually doing educational researches with these devices. The other 95 are getting entertained. And trust me, there are over 1 billion entertainment contents online, especially those in those areas where you make the children have access to the internet without any parental control. You see, so they have the 95% are engaged in entertainment. Now, if you're not present and you give them access to the internet, you can't even tell what they are watching. Because even on kids' content lately, they are fusing in some dark teachings into children's contents to make it look comfortable for these kids. That's why you see in some parts of the world where you see a grotto dressed in the form of a devil with horns and everything, looking fierce and everything, and it's communicating with kids and asks the children to be comfortable. Or you have a man dressed as Snow White. All right, a man, the kids know that he's a man. So they're trying to give them a narrative here. So just in case you say, oh, you're watching kiddies' content, are you also watching what they're watching? Do you take out time to go through their devices when they've gone to bed to see, okay, let me check the history of what my son or my daughter just went through on the internet, so I can know how to advise her moving forward, or how to place parental control to limit her access to some channels, especially for those who are doing different maybe browsing here and there. It's important we pay close attention to our kids, even not just only kids, even to ourselves, where we surf and navigate into, or where they surf and navigate into. It's very important. Now, you can see that this young man, when the parents were asked, they said, how come your child was the only one not on a device? And the parents simply said, he's not on a device because when he gets home, there are a lot of other things to keep him busy. And we don't have gadgets in this house. Because right now, the world is becoming lazy. Everyone is depending on AI, one gadget or the other. So as a matter of fact, you ask some people, 49 plus 40, the first thing they'll go reach out for is for their device to press 49 plus 40. Before, you could do 120 times 5 or 100 times. Now everyone is lazy, always looking for how to depend on this device or depend on that device. The science and technology has made the world lazy, as a matter of fact. So no one wants to work anymore. You want to give your responsibility to AI or to the computer to help you solve. So you're limiting the power of the brain. Limiting the power of the brain. Like someone said that in the nearest future, you would have, as a matter of fact, now it has already started, more investments going into AI and artificial intelligence, into AI and robots and different softwares that are being created, and less investments are going into human development. So as a matter of fact, we're about to replace the existence of mankind, the existence of human beings, with machines. That's the destination we're headed. That's the destination. But all that can be managed and be curbed if we pay close attention to the fact that there are boundaries, there are bigger challenges if we yield ourselves to this lifestyle. Everything should be done in moderation. So for this episode, I would like to speak to our parents, speak to everyone out there. You need to pay close attention to how much screen time your kids have. There are a lot more disadvantages about the dangers of excess screen time. And like I said, this is just part 1, and it's into 4 or 5 episodes. Of course, just stay with me and I'll take you on this very interesting journey. This is just a very short introduction into what's more to unfold. All right, my name is Valentine Agogo, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and of course, let me know what you think in the comment section. You might disagree with me, but it's fine. Just let me hear your own opinion. I'll see you again next episode. Thank you.